So
I would like to call the school board meeting. Is my mic on? There we go. I would like to call the school board meeting for Tuesday, October 18th, 2022 for the Des Moines Public Schools to order. Ms. Jenkins, welcome this evening. Could you please take the roll?
Will do. Miss Alonzo Diaz.
here.
Miss Bradley.
Here.
Miss Caldwell Johnson.
Here.
Miss Knox.
Here.
Miss Martirano.
Here.
Miss Norris.
Here.
Miss Sawyer.
Here.
Before we begin our first item of business, I would like to check in with everyone to see how you're doing. Just want to hear from you all about how your day's been. We will do this check-in for approximately 10 minutes, and then we will get to our order of business this evening.
I'll start. Today was a bit of an unusual day for me in that I had some blocks of time in my schedule to actually read and do some catching up on things that I don't typically get to do. So I'm coming here tonight really refreshed, unlike typical days when I've been doing all kinds of stuff that wears me out before I get to the board table. So really excited to be here tonight. And I know we've got some really important stuff, not only on the agenda, but the work session. So looking forward to it. Thank you.
Well, I guess right about now, I'm kind of jealous that there's two board members that are in warmer temperatures than we are. I feel good. We had a good legislative meeting earlier on preschool, and it's fun to be thinking about that and showing off the neat stuff that Des Moines is doing. I feel good. I'm ready. I'm excited for today.
If it helps at all, we've been in conference rooms all day.
Yeah, sure.
Lots of learning happening. I'm happy to be here with you.
If I could share from Florida, which it's not terribly sunny right now, but I would just recommend to my colleagues to figure out how to find a time to embrace this process. And what I learned was the work that we're doing, or what I'm taking away is the work that we're doing is the right work. And there's so many people who are passionate about kids and wanting to do better for our kids. And I am one of those people. And so when we ended our day, we harvest our learning. And my word was, really recommitted. I felt myself just really getting worn out and exhausted through the work, but being with just, all of you and all these great people in Florida from districts across the country, we're all in this for the right reason, and that is for our kids. So thank you to my board colleagues for also having that passion.
I will go ahead and share. I did tell Tawana I did feel like I may be having a mild panic attack, but no, I was glad to hear all of the things, not about the school board, just all the things. I was glad, thank you, board colleagues, for reminding me about all of the positive and exciting things that I'm so fortunate to get a part of, to be a part of sitting at this table. Very excited for tonight's conversation, our work session on the superintendent search, and really getting able to lean into our community and receive feedback. Like, that's what fills my cup up. Also just wanted to share a couple other things that remind me of good things that are happening in this district. I got to visit Tasha Brown and her amazing team over at Central Campus last week, and so proud of everything that happens there. So thank you to all of that staff, and always opportunity to improve, but so many great things happening in this district and things to be excited about. And also had a really great call this morning with Ben Page over at Des Moines Parks and Rec, and I hope he comes and shares more. There's just so many amazing community partners that are in this with us and giving so much, and we're just feel so fortunate to be in this district, in this community. So grounding myself in that sense of gratitude and community that we are a part of.
Can you hear me? No. Can you hear me now? Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me better? Yes.
It is a pleasure to sit at this table, not just today, but every single time that I've been here. I know that we are a great group, full of passion, full of great intentions. And I know that sometimes the work is hard, it gets heavy, but it's also very rewarding. And this week, I felt that talking to just students, some families, and it was a great, great way to get grounded. And so thank you. It is good. It is good to be here. Gracias.
I'm coming off of a wonderful day that I got to spend with my daughter who attends Iowa State. So we had mom-daughter time today, which was really great. It doesn't happen that often, and I'm just thrilled that she still likes to hang out with mom. So we had a really good time with each other today, which grounds me and gets me ready for our work this evening. So we will move on with the first item of business is approval of the agenda. May I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda?
Move approval?
Norris, second.
We have a motion by Ms. Caldwell Johnson and a second by Ms. Norris. Board members, please cast your votes.
Poyer, aye.
Martorano, yes.
The vote is approved, 7-0. Next on the agenda is the public forum. We provide speakers at the forum an opportunity to address the board for up to 3 minutes regarding items that are not on the board agenda. If anyone wishes to speak during this forum, please email rosa.rios@DesMoinesSchools.org, dmschools.org. Speakers will be called individually, and we ask they please state their name and address prior to providing comments. Students and minors do not have to provide their addresses. Guests of the board are encouraged to speak to matters relating to the program, services, and operations of DMPS. Please remember that Iowa law prohibits us from discussing specific employees or their job performance. Please avoid references to personalities or character attacks, as those types of comments do not contribute to the purpose for which this public forum exists. Thank you for your input of our school district. We appreciate your input. As a reminder to the board and public, the public forum is not a time for the board engagement and discussion, as it is our obligation to discuss only matters posted in the public agenda for the sake of transparency and opportunity afforded to all community stakeholders. Matters requiring attention will receive appropriate staff and our board follow-up at a time after this meeting. Ms. Jenkins, do we have any speakers this evening?
We do. First up, RJ Miller.
RJ, something wrong with this? Yes. RJ Miller? You can hear me? Yes. Barely hear. All right, RJ Miller, 3717 6th Avenue. I did a proposal to Mayor County Councilwoman Shoemaker to create a youth forum as an initiative to give a voice to students of color and all at-risk students to help reduce the violence within our city, but we also know that the violence is also happening within our schools. So we would like the board and the district to support our initiative as we seek to be more restorative and to repair harms that have been done in our community and within our schools. We want our youth to be heard, and we want to listen to their lived experiences, and we want to understand their concerns, but we also want to address it as a community with our city and with our school district to create a plan of action that will address the root causes of the violence, and we want to address the dropout rate. And it also is not enough to just use buzzwords and to run around basically saying that we want to create programs based on what we feel like they should have. We want to be able to give the youth an opportunity to tell us what they need, and we want to address it accordingly. And we feel as though in order to do this, we need to work together with our city, our district, and we want to work together with community in order to address these different concerns. And again, we want to be able to put a plan of action together. We don't want to just get caught into conversations like we did this summer after the East shooting. We want to be able to put a plan of action, and we want to be successful, and we want to fight for our kids. But it's going to take all of us collectively to come together to be able to do that. So that's what I would like to propose. I hope that I can get the support of the board and the school district to collaborate with the city and the community members. Thank you for your time.
Anna Campos.
Anna Campos, 1418 D Wolf. It is getting close to the 6-month anniversary of my daughter's death, leaving East High School. I'm here for some positive things. A couple things have changed. I have been in communication actively with Hyatt Middle School, principal there, Dr. Green, about changes that's made in the safety of our schools down on University and 14th area. I've also walked around picking up my son from school at Perkins, or not, Phillips, sorry, Phillips Elementary, and saw some concerns there, but positive things have been going on. We're getting those signs removed. The school zones have been extended. Little by little, hawk lights are gonna go in the next couple years. So that's my positive thing today. But I want to have you guys help me continue in making our streets and our schools safer for our kids. I have a couple ideas, and I wanted to come to you guys first before I start emailing you guys, so that my emails won't get pushed out. There's a couple items that I think that will benefit our school district and the safety in the streets of our students. I've looked over at other school districts nationwide. Our area, Des Moines Public Schools, we're on by many highways. That's not uncommon on the other side of town. We have 14th, we have University, that's a major highway. We have Army Post for some schools. So just safety of those students, Lincoln. So that's what I'm here for, just to thank you guys for your support and let you know that's moving in the right direction. Thank you. Thank you.
We have no other speakers.
Next on the agenda are consent items. We allow any person the opportunity to speak to the board for up to 5 minutes following the presentation of an agenda item. If anyone wishes to speak to an agenda item, please email rosa.rios@dmschools.org. Remarks must be germane to the agenda, and we ask that you avoid reference to personality and character attacks, as those types of comments serve no productive purpose. We appreciate your input. As a reminder to the board and public, the board will not engage in discussion or deliberation with the speaker regarding comments made to agenda items. Discussion and deliberation will remain among board members at the board table, with speakers' comments informing said discussion, deliberation, and determinations as deemed necessary. Ms. Jenkins, do we have any speakers this evening?
We do. First is Blake Hammond.
Good evening, board members. My name is Blake Hammond, 3215 Henry Avenue, Des Moines. I am also an elected member of the DMTRS Advisory Board, and I feel like it's time for our annual checkup of good old DMTRS, as you have the annual report in front of you. First thing I want to remind everyone, those in the audience and those at home and the board, is that the DMTRS operates as a trust. And the purpose of the trust, as defined, is to, quote, invest in and hold property for the exclusive benefit of participants and their beneficiaries. DMTRS plan members are reliant and expect that as part of this trust relationship, that this 7-member board will work diligently to make sure that we're meeting the obligations of the past, even from past boards, and also current actions to help maintain a quality plan to retain our employees. As you look at this year's annual report, I want to give you a couple of highlights. First of all, there will be a reduction in the number of active members, thanks in part to your act of the retirement incentive. I applaud you for this, and I encourage you to keep looking at where retirement incentives can keep addressing the need to help our DMTRS members. It really is the best win-win-win situation. We can provide some assurance for employees who are 55 and older, the ability to receive something so that they can begin to plan. Number two, the district can know in advance who is going to be ready to retire so we can line up our HR angles to hire the next best person. 3, management fund. Not talking about using the general fund in order to help. Don't tell others. I think it really is one of the most brilliant things that we've come up with over the years is using the retirement vehicle to help us with DMTRS. Second update relates to the interest earned on our plan this year is up slightly this year. That interest is important. Our retired members see a small increase in their excess earnings, which is important. It's part of what was advertised to them way back when they were hired. For the active members, this increase is about a couple of $100 in their account more. Not enough to really close that pension gap that we talk about a lot between IPERS and DMTRS, and certainly as an opportunity as a board, I think to have that discussion about what is the right investment mixture for this plan? How do we create the maximum amount of growth while also offsetting the protection of the actual plan itself? Being a 70% bond fund is making that a challenge. Because financial growth has been difficult from the investment side of this, the DMTRS Advisory Board and Interim Superintendent Smith have allowed for a study for us to look at if the current employees were to stay in DMTRS, where would their plan be? If we were to move them to IPERS immediately, where would they be financially? That study is expected to be available in about 4 weeks. I urge you, when that study comes out, if there is even one employee that it makes sense financially to move to IPERS, do it. You're talking about increasing their contribution from their DMTRS level to IPERS, which for most people at this point is probably around $700 to $800 now, and maybe about $1,000 next year. That's money well spent to move people. It doesn't make them whole, it stops the bleeding. We have long hoped for a comprehensive plan that addresses everything within DMTRS. It doesn't exist. It's not in your annual report in front of you. We need to take those small steps, small actions, and continue to chip away on the retired member side, folks that are getting closer and closer to retirement, for those younger employees so that they don't stop and say, you know what, leaving this district makes a whole lot more sense because I'm going to go to the neighbor, I'm going to get in IPERS, and then I'm done with this situation. I go back to this is a trust. This plan document operates as a trust, and that's a really important word. As someone on the DMTRS Advisory Board, I want to remind everyone that in Section 7.6, the plan trust states that the Advisory Board is to make recommendations directly to the board. We've struggled with this over the last couple of years. I urge us to work together to find out what is our Advisory Board and our Board of Trustees relationship. How do we work together to make sure that we instill the trust of the employees, build the actual trust as a plan document? The last thing I will remind you of is there's a cost if people leave. That cost is more than just monetary. I don't seem to feel or sense that there's a value in that cost of people leaving. I also want to thank all the people who are behind us here and at home watching and paying attention to DMTRS, because it means a lot. And I know as a board member, you all want to do what's right here. Hopefully there was 2 solutions there that we can jump forward with. And I thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Adam Severson.
Hi, I'm Adam Severson, address 1298 Northwest 94th Court, Clive. Good evening. Mr. Hammond closed his address by talking about trust with the DMTRS. I've looked at the annual report, and I don't see in this report planning or anything that tells me that the DMTRS is going to meet the conditions that I signed up for 20 years ago. I came to DMPS in the fall of 2002. I had 2 years teaching in rural Iowa, up in Postville, so I was already enrolled in IPERS. At the time, I was told by the HR department that hired me that if I were going to stay in DMPS for my career, DMTRS would be the best choice for my retirement, even if it meant foregoing 2 years in IPERS. I would still have the option to retire with benefits at age 55, and my monthly benefit would be more than IPERS. I trusted that I was being told what would be best for me. I joined DMTRS because I liked Des Moines. I decided this is where I wanted to be, and I wanted to be in a strong financial situation at retirement. Now, unfortunately, I'm in a position where at age 45, I need to seriously start to look at whether it makes more sense financially for me to go elsewhere because I stand to make less money per month in retirement due to the situation that DMTRS is in now. I love my job. I teach 7th grade language arts at Merrill. I coach cross country middle school level for Roosevelt. I'm on our school's building leadership team. I'm the dream to teach facilitator at my building. I'm always busy and there are ups and downs to life as a teacher, but I love my job. I don't want to go anywhere else. But for the sake of my wife and I, it looks like I might actually have to start running the numbers to see if what I want in my heart, staying at Merrill, is enough that I can pass over what may make more sense for me financially in retirement. It pains me that I must start thinking this way. I really hope that the board can start to help fix this problem that's been going on for several years now. There are several viable options that it sounds like are going to be coming out. I ask you all to seriously consider the options as they present themselves over the next couple of months and move forward quickly with the best possible option to support us in DMTRS, because I am sure that I am not the only one that is in this position. Thank you.
Thank you. We have no further speakers.
Ms. Alonzo Diaz, I believe you have the consent motion.
Yes. Can't hear me. Hold on, you will.
Okay.
You can hear me? Yes.
Yes.
I move that the board approve the consent items in accordance with the recommended action for each item on the consent agenda, including bills previously authorized, certified, and approved for payment by the board secretary in the amount of $5,523,149.03, and procurement card transactions in the amount of $423,353. Oh, no, hold on. Can I say that again?
Yes, you can.
Thank you. $423,353.98.
Okay, may I get a second?
Nora, second.
Is there any discussion or questions? Before I have you cast your vote, I just want to bring your attention to consent agenda item C5, our board manual. There are a few grammatical changes that need to be made in those. That one was brought to me, one I caught myself, so I will get that manual updated and before it's put on the website. Board members, please cast your votes.
Martirano, yes.
Sawyer, yes.
The consent items are approved 7-0. Next on the agenda is public hearing. We have item D1, public hearing for B8752 Hannawalt Erosion Control. The public hearing will come to order. Is there anyone wishing to speak to item D1?
We have no speakers.
Hearing no one, I will close the public hearing. Interim Superintendent Smith, would you please introduce the matter?
I recommend the board review the proposed plans and specifications prepared by Bishop Engineering for erosion repair at Hannawalt Elementary, hold a public hearing, and approve the plans.
May I have a motion and a second to approve item D1?
Move approval, Caldwell Johnson.
Martirano, second.
We have a motion by Ms. Caldwell Johnson and a second by Ms. Martirano. Any discussion or questions? Board members, please cast your votes.
Martirano, yes.
Sawyer, yes.
The vote is approved, 7-0. Next, we have item D2, public hearing for B8820 Central Campus South Parking Lot Replacement. The public hearing will come to order. Is there anyone wishing to speak to item D2?
We have no speakers.
Hearing no one, I'll close the public hearing. Interim Superintendent Smith, will you please introduce the matter?
I recommend the board review the proposed plans and specifications prepared by Angelo Architecture for parking lot improvements at Central Campus, hold a public hearing, and approve the plans.
May I have a motion and second to approve item D2?
Caldwell Johnson, move approval.
Alonso, second.
We have a motion by Ms. Caldwell Johnson and a second by Ms. Alonzo Diaz. Any discussion or questions? Board members, please cast your votes.
Martirano, yes.
Sawyer, yes.
The vote is approved, 7-0. Next on the agenda, we have items of privilege. Are there any board members that have anything to share this evening?
So I I sometimes feel like I'm like my mother. I rip things out of magazines and send copies to people. But this one really stuck with me. It actually wasn't about Des Moines Public Schools, but it's connected. The headline says, "Does it have to be your kid? Family asks as they grieve," and it was all about a boy who took his own life. And I'm really proud that Des Moines is taking steps to do everything they can to try and support such a critical issue. The technology is just one step. It's so much bigger than that, but I just want to say out loud for all of the people who are supporting our kids right now that it's really tough. And this article, just talks about by ambivalence, powerlessness, and lack of collective capacity and will to improve the lives of our most precious resources, our children. I just think it's important for us to say out loud, we know that things are underfunded, and yet I think when we take steps like adding the technology and looking for ways to support students that are struggling with suicide, a crisis, I really appreciate that. So thank you.
Madam Chair, I just had a comment to make on the DMTRS annual report. I noticed that there is a vacancy. Is Kathy McKay here? Yeah. Kathy, is there still a vacancy for a citizen representative? Okay, I would like to advance a recommendation, and I'll talk to the board chair about that. But I have someone who has worked on the investment side at Bankers Trust and now is a private citizen here in Des Moines, an individual who is of refugee status that I think would be a great addition. So I'll make sure I advance that to Dewana, and then we can get it to Kathy.
I would just like to give a shout out to Hyatt Middle School, East High School, Pleasant Hill Elementary School, and Willard Elementary School. Those are the schools that I was able to visit in the last few weeks. I'm on my Monday tours where I'll be going to visit schools from now until right after spring break. And so it was just great to be in buildings. Being a former teacher, that's something I miss. And so being in the buildings makes me want to teach again. And so every administrator in that building was very welcoming and warm, and just seeing the kids always touches my heart because I love the children in our district. I love the teachers and staff in our district. So just wanted to give a shout out to them. Capitol View, I will see you on Monday. So very excited to have the opportunity to visit those schools. Thanks to Tanya for setting those up for me. I greatly appreciate it. But just want to give a shout out again to all of our staff and students. I don't think saying thank you is even enough, but just to know that we value and appreciate the work that you're doing. I know it's not easy. I know at times it gets frustrating. I know at times it gets a little bit of everything, but I greatly appreciate you, and I think this board does appreciate you and all of the work that you do and the commitment that you make to this district and the commitment that you make to our kiddos. And we love seeing what our kiddos are going to be, and it's because of you all that they are on the path to live very successful lives. So just wanted to thank you all for all that you're doing. If I don't hear anything else, then I will turn it over to you, Interim Superintendent Smith, with your report.
Yeah, thank you. I want to lift up two specific staff
Can I
members. Oh, yes,
say
ma'am.
something really quick?
Absolutely.
I'm so sorry. I just wanted to say thank you to the people that serve at the Welcome Center. I understand that everyone is doing a lot of work. Today, I had a meeting over the lunch hour, and I'm sitting in this little Mexican restaurant and eating Mexican food. And there's a family who sees me from across the room, and I'm getting ready to leave. And she flags me down and she says, "Wait, aren't you with the schools, Maria?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "With Des Moines?" And I said, "Yes," with a big smile on my face. And she said, "Where can my family go? Because I have a relative who just came and she needs to go to school." And it was so good to hear that she was not looking to go somewhere else. She wanted to stay in Des Moines. And so obviously, she was referred to the Welcome Center, and I was proud to do that. So staff, people that are serving at the Welcome Center, muchas gracias for all the work that you do. Thank you.
I'm going to continue with those staff celebrations. I've got two specific staff members that are being celebrated and honored this week. Deborah Carr is a student services coordinator serving 5 of our middle schools, and Deborah is being honored with the Catherine G. Williams Lifetime Diversity Award for her social work. Deborah has deep ties in the community, is known for connecting those in need with those who have solutions. Carr says this is an extra special honor because Williams was a mentor of hers who passed on recently at the age of 105. Congratulations, Deborah Carr. I also want to congratulate, and yes, please, absolutely. I'd like to lift up Morgan King at Hoover High School. Morgan has been awarded the Iowa Council of Teachers of English Barb Schubert Award. Morgan is an English and drama teacher at Hoover. The award is for beginning teachers who demonstrate exceptional literacy interactions with students and families and use a rich curriculum in innovative ways. Congratulations, Morgan King at Hoover High School.
Thank you for joining us this evening. We greatly appreciate you all. This meeting is adjourned at 6:04 p.m. Board members, would you like to take a 5-minute break before we go into work session or go right into the work session? Okay, we're going to go right into the work session. We ask, please, that we're going right into our work session. If you need to have any conversations, we would ask that you please step outside to have those conversations, but we're going to continue with the work at hand. Thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Just a clarification by outside. We mean outside in the hallway. You don't have to go right outside the building, but if you just go right outside in the hallway,